back to Ghana to help me change the education system. And I was looking at him, I said, this guy, come back to Ghana. But I had a meeting with a mentor of mine, Congressman Melvin Damley from Trinidad and Tobago originally. And we had a nice lunch. And I asked him, do I stay here or go to Ghana? And he said something profound. He said, Ghana, he said, America can do without you, but maybe your country cannot do without you. So I advise you to go. It was almost like God was speaking with me, and I decided to go back and became a member of parliament. Then the president made me deputy minister, minister for education, and gave me the charge to transform schools in Ghana. Gave me all the support, all the resources. Sometimes people think, how did you do this? So the president is super committed. So anything I ask, for the most part, I get. Yeah, so we've moved in various directions in terms of foundational learning, early childhood education, and then secondary education. He implemented a free secondary education. Starting when we came, there were 800,000 students. Now we have 1.4 million plus students in high school, and it's free for everyone. Nobody pays anything. 70% of them are fed 3 times a day. So what we decided to do was, in education, you have to look at access, but also have to look at quality and the relevance of the education system. So the quality led us to a change in teacher education, where instead of the diploma, which was 2 years plus 1 year practicum, we now change our schools to do bachelors. So even if you're going to teach in KG, you have to have a Bachelor of Education in early grades education, or primary education, or junior high education. So after changing that, they also got international funding to retrain teachers and school administrators. So we have the National Education Leadership Institute, where we are retraining school leaders. It's all geared towards how do we improve the quality of education. We also made a decision to assess all primary 2 students, primary 4 students, primary 6 across the country, so that if we have deficiencies in literacy and numeracy, by testing primary 2, primary 3, we do intervention and test you again primary 4. The whole idea is to ensure that we put to rest the idea of learning poverty. Because you see, the World Bank tells us that in developing countries, 90% of children cannot read for understanding by age 10. And in fact, they are forecasting a crisis in education in Africa, especially in the next 10 to 20 years. And we felt strongly that if there's any place on earth where students have to be the best, it has to be Africa. I've taught in the US school system, walk into a classroom, serious discipline issues in urban areas. You have to be watching your back whilst you're teaching, because you don't know what a kid may throw at you. And then I go to Africa, Ghana, enter a classroom, the children will stand up, they are so respectful, they will not sit down until you tell them to sit down. So I don't understand why Africans should have a learning crisis. Rather, we should be the place where learning is at the highest level possible. So I believe the laxity in supervision and all those things are the causes of that. So the president was focused on ensuring we have National School Inspectorate Authority to inspect schools, train school administrators to be held accountable for performance, assess schools so that if they are not performing, you know. Because if primary 2, the school is not doing well, you know. And then you notify parents with critical data about their children. And then you assess again in primary 4 and primary 6. By that time, you have arrested learning poverty. So we have started what is called the 90-90-90 plan. We believe that 90% of our students will read for understanding by age 10. Then from there, we move on and say 90% will move on to secondary for the first time. Those who can will have to restate their exam. We'll also do an entrance exam, but ours is at the end of junior high. And then we say from junior high, 90% move on to secondary. From secondary, 90% minimum should move on to some world of work or tertiary. So that's the goal we've set, and that's the goal we want to be held accountable, and we are focusing on that to make sure that we can be competitive with the rest of the world. If we want to be competitive in Africa, it's much easier. So our goal in Ghana is not about being the best in Africa. We believe that the South Korean can do it. Why can't we? why can't we transform education so that we compete with the rest of the world? I will talk about gross tertiary enrollment ratio. We cannot be at the bottom. Sub-Saharan Africa is 7% gross tertiary enrollment ratio. And Ghana is 22, so it gets some people happy and say, hey, but South Korea is over 100%. So if you are 22, are you happy? So if you are not careful, you'll be caught up in what I call the African mediocrity syndrome, where you compare yourself to other African countries and you are happy that you've done something. And we are saying that no, Ghana cannot be in that, situation. So we are challenging ourselves. So within limited resources, we also spend the same amount, about 20% of our budget on education. And a number of things, we looked at a few things that I'll show you will be how we are transforming our schools. We've come to a space where the school buildings were not good. You can see school buildings like this in a typical town or village. You see how they are painted bright yellow, and then we match it with the uniform of the students. I don't understand why. I don't understand why. Why do we match the uniform and the building? So the middle class parents are running away from here to private schools. So 30% of our students at the primary and junior high KG are in private schools, and 70%. So I visit schools and I get a chance to teach from time to time. And you go there, this school in the inner city with 5 students in a class. The parents have checked out, and the teacher asked me, Minister,